So we are going to create a simple image slider using CSS. First, let's create the markup. Create a div. Let's create a div with a class of img slider. Inside this div will be our slider div container. Let's name this img holder. Then inside this container, we are going to add an image tag for our image. Let's see a quick preview. We are going to add another 2 slides, so let's duplicate the slide container twice and change the image file names. To add our CSS styles, let's open a style tag inside the head tag. For our parent slider div element, let's add a maximum width of 960 pixels. A width of 100% and a height. And also add a margin to center align horizontally. Next, for our slide container, add a position absolute CSS to our slide so they are stacked on each other. And then we hide every slide by adding an opacity value of 0. Also, don't forget to add a position relative to the parent element img slider. So next, for our slide container, we are going to use CSS animation to make every slide appear one at a time. Let's create a keyframe called slide. This keyframe simply tells us when should the image appear at what time depending on the time frame. So I will explain this keyframe that we created after we add our animation value to the slide container. For now, let's add a CSS to the first slide container. Add an animation property with a value of slide, so the keyframe that we created. Then add 9 seconds as the total time for all the 3 slides. Then add a linear for the timing, so to make the transition smooth. And lastly, add infinite, so the keyframe animation will loop. So I'll just quickly add a CSS support for other browsers. So next, let's target the second slide. For the second slide, we will add an animation delay of 3 seconds. So it appears at the same time as the first slide starting to fade out. We need to update the keyframe since we have 9 seconds for each loop, and the first loop should fade out at 3 seconds. So that's 30% of 9. So add 30%, then it will slowly disappear on 40% and onwards. Lastly, for the third slide, copy and paste the same CSS and change the selector of the third slide container. For this one, we are just changing the animation delay 6 seconds, so the slide will appear after the 2 other slides fade out.